So, the first poem of hers we're going to be talking about is number 280. It is referred to by its first line, "I felt a funeral in my brain." This is one of her more famous works, and some people sort of view this one as being a comment on the death of her sanity. "I felt a funeral in my brain, and mourners to and fro kept treading, treading, till it seemed that sense was breaking through." Many people have sort of looked at this as, almost like a Dickinsonian cry for help, that it's like this is her, commenting on the death of her sanity, the funeral in her brain as she sort of, lost her mind in a sense. But I personally find that to be a little bit patronizing of an interpretation. I prefer the idea that, in a sense, like this is a comment on enlightenment. Sort of at the end here, it says, "And then a plank in reason broke, and I dropped down and hit a world at every plunge and finished knowing then." That there's sort of this idea, perhaps, that losing reason, that escaping from reason and rationality, that in a sense, that's sort of the gateway to a new knowing. One other fascinating thing about this is the editorial decision at the end. There is this situation at the end where it says, "And hit a world at every plunge and finish knowing then." That ending sort of has this notion that, knowing is over, that we're in the state of uncertainty. But then in one of the manuscripts of this poem, Dickinson had actually added a final line, "crash got through," which sort of, is definitely a more positive way of viewing the end, that once this plank in reason breaks, that you have no knowing, but then crash, get through, that you're on the other side now, that, either in death you achieve some sort of awakening, or that once you sort of escaped from sanity and reason, that now, you are through to the other side. But in most of the respected or, canonized versions, that line has been removed, thus leaving us with the "and finish knowing then" conclusion. But regardless, it's an interesting thing to think about, and it's definitely, shows just a little bit that sort of idea of the great debates that can happen when working with her poetry.